Welcome back. I am Dr. Kevin Hadley. This is the Board Game Professor, and this is our last video on Terror in Meeple City. Hopefully you've watched all the videos, but again, in some videos I missed some steps, so it is good to watch all the videos. But I believe at this point, all that's really left is to explain how scoring works and how the superpowers work. So I'm going to go over the superpowers first because the scoring is involved with the characters. Okay, so the first one is the power deck. And I'm going to go through these kind of individually. And they're all pretty basic, and but luckily the symbology is pretty self-explanatory because they all have this is so stretchy pause is associated with movement. What stretchy pause allows me to do is I can take I'm green. Okay, I can take before doing my move action, I can kind of put my pause wherever I want and then flick from that position. So if I want to make it so that's a little bit easier to flick into the blue, I can put it all the way up to the edge and then just tap it next to the building or something. Okay. In terms of the vacuum, okay. So when I'm doing the hurricane breath action, only when I'm doing the hurricane breath action and meeples fall off the side of the board, they don't run away, they actually go into the neighborhood. Now I don't eat them, they just go into the neighborhood, but that's only with the hurricane action, a hurricane breath. Okay. Sharp canines associated with the eating action. So with sharp canines, I always have 2 extra teeth in terms of, with respect to how many meeples I can eat. So I always have 2 more meeples than normal to eat. Okay. And then I have the actual hurricane power. In terms of the hurricane breath action, well, I can do it from any meeple. Any kaiju. So I can do it from this kaiju, I can do it from that kaiju, or I can do it from that kaiju. It doesn't matter. Now, the rules still apply. I still have to be sitting down, and I still have to take my breath while my chin is on the piece, but I can do it from any kaiju I would like. Okay. Climber. Okay, this one's interesting. It's a movement thing. So when I'm doing it, I can put my token on top of the building. I'm not going to because that one's kind of, so I can put on top of this building as long as I'm in the same neighborhood and then move from there. So I could use it to either knock down people or just have a little bit more of a trajectory. Okay. The jumper. Okay, the jumper is also a movement thing. So this is like the toss a vehicle. So I put the pulse on top of my head, and I can flick the guy. Oh, it looks like a meeple got lost. Okay, so those rules would apply. Also, because this is a movement action, if I fall off the board, I lose a tooth. Okay. And then we have the siren. Okay, which says either I can eat people from my neighborhood or eat one. Well, that's not really an either or, I believe. Let's see here. Oh, no, it is an either or. So I can either eat meeples from my neighborhood or one meeple from a different neighborhood. Okay. Retainers. Okay, so when I'm eating, it doesn't matter how many teeth I have lost. I always am treated as if I had 5 teeth. Okay, so even if I've lost 2 teeth, and I can lose teeth, in terms of giving other people points, in terms of losing meeples, if I don't have enough teeth, but in terms of how many meeples I can actually eat, it's always going to be 5. Okay, then the boxer. Okay, so when I knock down another meeple, okay, using the movement action, just the movement action, so when I knock down another meeple, another kaiju, using the movement action, I'm going to steal 2 of their teeth rather than the 1. And that, the same kind of rules apply. If they don't have enough teeth, I'm going to take 2 of their meeples. Okay. Then we have stretchy tongue, which, okay, this one I can eat I can basically eat from either my neighborhood or an adjacent neighborhood. Now the difference between this and the siren, let's see if I can find the siren, is the siren can be from any neighborhood, whereas this one only can be from the adjacent. So those are the big differences between those two. Okay. Heavyweight. when I do the destruct building, I can do it on top of another kaiju to knock them down and get their teeth. The other thing is, though, now it does have to be, I don't have to be on a sidewalk to be able to do this. Now, to do a destruct building, I have to be on a sidewalk. I just have to be in the same neighborhood as the other kaiju. Okay, telekinesis. So when I'm throwing a vehicle, I don't have to be in the same neighborhood. I can take any vehicle from any neighborhood and shoot it. Okay. The Star Dancer. Okay, so this is a movement one. I get an extra actions. So whenever I move, I get 2 flicks. Okay, so I can take up either do, so it's not an extra action, it's just an extra flick whenever I am moving. So I can do up to 4 flicks in one round. Okay, Smelly Paws. Okay, so what's Smelly Paws? If I'm in a neighborhood and I'm on the sidewalk, I have to be on the sidewalk. Okay. If there are meeples in the ruins, because I can't eat meeples that are in ruins, but if there are meeples in the ruins, well, they're going to smell my feet and move to an adjacent neighborhood. And I get to pick which neighborhood they go to. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to put them on an adjacent neighborhood. Okay. So that is Smelly Paws. Long Tail. Okay, so normally I have to be on a sidewalk to do a destruct building. This one I just have to be in the neighborhood. So I could, even from the very, very start position, okay, I can start deconstructing this building that's in the green. Kung Fu Masters, last one. So this is similar to the jumper. I put my paws on top of my thing and I flick it, but this is as a instead of as a movement, this is like a toss vehicle. So it is okay if I fall off the board, and B, it's mainly to bring down buildings. So that is my powers. Now my supers. Now these are obviously all always available until I have to discard them for maybe some reason. Okay, now there's the secret superpowers. Now these are secret, and they are one shot. So once you use them, then they're no longer available. Okay, so they're pretty powerful, but they are again one shot. Okay, so unstable mutation. So I draw 3 power cards from what's left in the pile. Okay, and I have access to all of those for 1 turn. Okay, and then when I'm done, I discard the 3. I discard 3. Now it doesn't have to be the 3 I picked up. I could exchange with one of the ones I had, but for 1 round, basically, I have 4 superpowers. Okay, Teeth Protector. Okay, so Teeth Protector allows me to, when somebody else breaks my teeth, I can cancel that loss and break their teeth instead. Okay, so instead of them taking a tooth, I take a tooth of theirs. Passionate Kiss. Weird. There's a lot of weird things about this game. But what I can do is I can choose 2 meeples of my choice from another monster's, or kaiju's stomach, and that's in my neighborhood and place them on my stomach. So I basically just look behind the screen and say, oh, I want your green and I want your red. Okay, who cut the cheese? So everybody, except for you, places their kaiju or monster upside down as such, and they have to use 1 action to flip it out. So really what it does is it just deletes 1 action from every other player. Invisibility. Okay, so invisibility lets me put my token wherever I want in the whole board. Okay. Again, these are 1 shot. Too cute. Okay. So, except for the end game, okay, I can use Too Cute once to cancel the effects on the runaway board. Okay, so except for end game, I can use it to cancel one of these, which is usually losing a tooth, or one of these. Okay. Really hungry. Okay, so instead of getting 1 meeple per tooth, I can get 2 meeples. So I basically can eat twice as much in that 1 round. Okay, the catcher. So in terms of, okay, like there was the dancer and no, not the dancer, there was the jumper, and then there was the Kung Fu Master, which allowed me to use, the tokens. The catcher is kind of like that, but I use another whole kaiju to do the action. Okay, and so I use him to flick, and of course he's going to lose a tooth but I also get the sheer destructive power of throwing a whole kaiju somewhere. Okay. But I still get to break one of that person's teeth. And when I'm done, that's the thing. It's not like where he lands is where he gets put. It's wherever his paws are. So the monster's paws are right there. So I'm gonna put that monster right there. Okay. Unleashed. Okay. So I get 2 more actions. So instead of the normal 2, I get 4, or whatever. Okay. Scavenger. So for once, again, just once, I can eat meeples from any neighborhood. Okay. But again, just as one-shot thing. Okay. Small wings. Okay. Small wings is a movement thing. I can basically move it into... oh, wait. Well, let's see here. Oh, I misinterpreted invisibility. So this one is really move... Sorry for that. This one is move to any neighborhood I want. So whereas invisibility is I can take myself off the board for a whole round and then place myself wherever I want. Okay. Okay. So really... so invisibility is, in a sense, a little bit better than that one, because I get to move wherever I want, but also I'm off the board, so I can't be affected by what's going on. The thing is, though, I have to be off the board, and I do my movement. Until the next turn, so I don't really get to eat anything that turn. I'm going to have to kind of skip it. So that is the one downfall to that. Okay, paralyzing gaze. Okay, nobody can move this round. Okay, they can destroy buildings, they can do hurricane breath, but they can't move. Earthquake. Okay, again, if there's meeples on top of a building, I can, this is kind of like the smelly feet, but I can just take them all off. Okay, of any building that I would like. Again, so I don't know these as well, so I keep looking at the rules to remind myself. But yeah, but it is still an adjacent neighborhood. Okay, ultra bright smile. Okay, so I can eat from the runaway board instead of a neighborhood. Okay. So, which is pretty nice. And then, and I can eat from any track I want and readjust accordingly. Okay, now I'm not going to incur any bad things if I readjust and, so I'm just going to, I'm going to eat everybody and then, fill in the empty spots or eat people as I feel like. Okay. The hobo. I can eat up to 3 meeples from somebody's stomach. Or anybody's stomachs, actually. So I can be like, I want to have your yellow, I want to have your blue, and I want to have your green. Okay. And then finally, the Terminator is knock over all the monsters currently in the neighborhood and break 1 tooth from each of them. So, I just knock them over, like physically with my finger or whatever, and I get their tooth. Okay. So that's all the super secret powers. They're one-shot things. I reveal them, I do them, and then they're done. Okay. Finally, scoring. But before we do scoring, we're going to talk about the characters because they affect the scoring. Okay. So, when the game is over, everybody gets 1 more action unless, the runaway board gets filled, and then I'm going to do my points. Now, the points are pretty simple. Okay. But I get 1 point for each set. So a set is a gray, a green, a yellow, a blue, a black, and then a red. So for every full set I have, I get 10 points. Okay. If I have an incomplete set, nothing happens. I just have an incomplete set. But for every set, I get 10 points. And then I get 1 point for each floor that I've eaten. And it doesn't matter if it's a long, if it's a stadium, if it's a square, I get 1 point. Now, if you want to do a variant where, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 4. But that's, if you want to do a variant. I get 2 points for every tooth I stole. Not for my own teeth, just the ones I stole from other monsters. Okay, and then I get points for my superpowers. and I add up all my points, and whoever has the most wins. Now, in case of a tie, the person who ate the most meeples, regardless of colors, wins the game. Now it's like, oh well, we ate the same, and then I'm always of the mentality of I think there should be a winner, there should be a balance, there shouldn't be we both win, yay. No, somebody should win. So I like to think of other ones to incorporate, but that's up to you. Okay, so let me go through these different characters. Again, they're all points. So the punk gets 2 points for every pair of old persons and businessmen. Okay, Rage Against the Machine, basically. Okay, we've got romantic. So every blonde and superhero pair, he gets 2 points. Okay, let me find the other kind of pair ones. Okay, we have the anarchist. I guess that would be more Rage Against the Machine too. Okay, against the news media and the military pair. Okay, so those are all the paired ones. Okay, and then there's bonuses for the most of a specific color. Okay, so if you have the most elderly, because you're young, you get 10 points. If you have the most military, because you are a pacifist, you get 10 points. And then there's the most blue for shy, because those are the journalists. You have seductive for the blondes, that's the 10 points. Mean with the superheroes. And then a tourist for all the business people. Okay, and then all the other ones are a little specific, so I'll go through each one. There's the softy, who gets 2 points for every tooth he did not lose. Now, this does not count the 2 that are permanently there, so it's not like he automatically gets a bonus 4 points. It's just the flexible teeth. So if he lost all of his teeth, he gets no bonus, but if he kept all of his teeth, he gets a bonus of 8 points. Okay. Then there's the scrap merchant. So for every vehicle that's on a top of a ruins, he gets an extra 5 points. So that one can be pretty hefty if you think about the percentage of points. Okay, the seer. This one's tricky. So the seer is going to guess who has the most meeples before everybody declares and counts and stuff. And then if he is right, or she, this player gets an extra 7 points. Okay. Now if there's a tie, it doesn't matter. As long as the player has picked somebody who has the most meeples. Okay, the glutton. If you do have the most meeples, you get a bonus 10 points. Destructive. If you have the most floors, you get an extra 10 points. Okay. Now, let's hear. What does it say in terms of ties? Because it just dawned on me. Oh, what about ties? Oh, let's just really quickly see. It says more than each other monster. So I'm going to say if you have a tie, it doesn't count because you don't have more than every other monster. And then the imitator, basically, you, like, at the end of the game, I think it's at the end of the game, I'll check that one also, because these are things that come up. Let me see, imitator, it says, at the end of the game, before counting eating before you count, though, eat meeples, choose another monster's character card and apply its effect to them. So, before we start tallying up points and stuff, I'm going to say, oh, okay, I'm going to also be mean because I think I have the most red or whatever. Okay. And then brawler, well, basically you get a bonus 2 points for teeth that you've broken from somebody else. So instead of being worth 2 points, they're worth 4 points. Okay. And all those points come together, and we add them up, and everybody's happy. Okay. So that's basically how the game's played. We set it up, we did our 4 actions, we did our, figure out what happens after destruction ensues, and then points in the special powers. There's also the variants. Now, I've never played the variants, so I'll just talk through them really quickly and explain them based on my interpretation. So, fashionable diet, basically at the end of the game, each meeple that's not part of a complete set makes you lose a point. So, you do your complete sets, and I have 2 military guys left. Those are minus 1 point. Okay. Tailor-made monsters. At the start of the game, each player receives 3 cards of each type, so they receive 3 character cards, 3 superpower cards, and 3 secret superpowers, keeps 1 of each choice, and then places the cards not chosen back in the box. Now, another way that could be done is sort of a draft, like you see in Seven Wonders or something, where, okay, you have like 5... 5 of a... Now, this would only really work with either a 2-player game or a 3-player game. It doesn't really work with 4 because there's not 4 piles. But, okay, each person is given, 5 of a... Now, this would only really work with either a 2-player game or a 3-player game. It doesn't really work with 4 because there's not 4 piles. But, okay, each person is given, 5 of a... Now, this would only really work with either a 2-player game or a 3-player game. It doesn't really work with 4 because there's not 4 piles. But, okay, each person is given, the number of players plus 1 cards. So like in a 3-player game, 4 secret superpower cards, 4 character cards, and then they choose the one that they like and pass on. Again, this won't work with 4 players because, well, there's only 3 types of piles. So that's another variant that I've thought about, but I've never played myself. But that would be kind of similar to the tailor-made monster. Baby monsters. Okay, in this variant, the player begins the game with only 1 character card, so no no superpowers and no secret superpowers. At the end of his turn, a player can discard 1 floor from his stomach to gain a second card. Okay, so I can basically use the floors as currency to gain a second card. Okay, so I'm going to draw 1 card from every pile: the character card, the super secret power card, and the power pile. Huh. Oof. And then choose the one I like and do that. So I'm gonna I'm gonna draw 1 from the character. I'm gonna draw 1 from the power, and then I'm gonna draw 1 from the super secret. Sticky cards. Okay, and I'm gonna choose which one I like, and the other ones go into the discard. So I can be like, oh, okay, I want the scavenger as my super secret. Oh, I want the punk to get some extra powers, or I want the hurricane for more superpowers. But you use the floors for that. So you start off small, but you could get pretty big by the end. The thing is, though, every subsequent card you buy costs that many more floors. So to get So the first one costs 1 floor, the second one's going to cost 2 floors, the third one's going to cost 3 floors, and so on and so forth. Okay? And again, these don't go to somebody else, they don't go to yourself, they go to the game and nobody gets those points. Okay, team play. Okay, team play, that's pretty complicated, but I'll go through it. The players compete in teams of 2. At the beginning of the game, each team receives 1 power card. Each will be common to the 2 monsters on the team. So we're going to choose a power card, and we both have Retainer, or whatever. Each player receives a character and a super secret power as in the normal game. So we will have different characters, we will have different super secret powers, but everything else we'll share our powers. When players on a same team go on the same turn, they have 3 actions to split between the pair. Okay, so it can be 1 person does 3, it can be 1 does 1 and 1 does 2. It doesn't really matter, and it doesn't matter which order. Okay. The player keeps the meeples his monster is eaten in his own stomach. Gobble floors are claimed by the player who just performed an action. At the end of the game, each player tallies his score, but only the points of the lower scoring player are taken into account. And so you want to be strategic about who eats what, because it's going to be whoever has the least points between a pair, and that's going to be how many points the team gets. Okay. And so, and that's where the strategy comes into play also with respect to, where you eat and how you eat and all that good stuff. Okay? Let's see here. Team play for more than 4. Okay, well, basically, you're going to use 2 boards and put them next to each other. And you can make either 2 teams of 3 or 4 teams of 2, which is just kind of crazy. But it says, with each team having a number of action equal to the number of team members plus 1. So if it's a team of 4, then you're going to have 5 actions within your team. Okay, but it's always going to be scored based on the lowest team player. Again, I've never played that variant. I always just play with my family. I might do the team play, but I definitely don't have 2 copies to do team play for more than 4. So, if you have any questions regarding setup, actions, what have you, please place them in the comments, and I will get back to you on how those things are clarified or my interpretation. If I am wrong on something, also, please point it out in the comments, and I will address that, and I will probably make some sort of note on the video or in the description. Thank you for watching.